I want to first ask you about the German Chancellor's comments on Sunday that Europe has to decide its own destiny and maybe can no longer rely on the U.S. as the partner that it's been since World War II. How do you feel about Europe's relationship with the United States of America under President Trump?
Well, as regards EU-US relations, it must be noted that we have actually a long-standing strategic partnership, which is lasting for decades. So I think this strategic partnership can also survive somewhat turbulent times, and still we believe that it's very important that the Western democratic world is cooperating close among themselves.
How do you feel, though, about the seemingly protectionist bent that concerned the other leaders at the G7 in Sicily last week?
Well, we have made this point very clear from the EU side that we remain open for trade, remain open for economic cooperation, and call other partners to follow similar policies. Of course, then we need to see what other partners would take in terms of concrete steps. So far, we had heard lots of political rhetorics, but then we need to see what are really the concrete steps, and then we must assess what are our reactions to them.
If you look at the concerns that other members of the G7 had last week, ranking top among them was climate change. And I want to just pivot to China here because I've got a chart. You can't see it, but it's pretty clear. China is the biggest polluter in the world, contributing about 1/3 of global carbon emissions. On the other hand, if you look at it per capita, the U.S. is a massive polluter. The only bigger polluters in the world really are Australia and some of the Emirates. How important is it that the U.S. stay in the Paris Accord?
We believe that this is one area where EU can actually take a lead globally. We regret this decision of US to leave the Paris Agreement. We note, however, that legally it requires certain steps and it takes time. It actually takes years to quit the Paris Agreement. And this will be one of the topics also in EU-China summit, how we can cooperate closer to tackle the climate change.
Can you bring those two issues together that we've discussed? I mean, trade and climate change, because really this isn't just an issue of pollution. This is really a financial issue. The strength that the German economy, for example, has shown because of its clean energy initiatives is impressive. Do you think that you can also bring those two issues together when you talk about China? Clean energy, building up a stronger economy using that kind of investment?
Well, absolutely. And Europe's example has shown it that by taking the lead in developing clean energies, many of those renewable energies, clean energies by now are commercially viable. So, and they're creating many new jobs. We're currently also looking how to address climate change issues by putting also more public finance into the work for climate change, for green purposes. We are having a high-level expert group which is working on those elements, how we can also put public finance to support greening of the economy.
All right, I want to get back to the Brussels issues that we normally talk about, Commissioner. As far as Europe is concerned, do you expect that we're going to see a European finance minister anytime soon? Is this necessary?
Well, just yesterday, European Commission published its reflection paper on deepening economic and monetary union, and indeed, in some longer-term part of our reflection paper, we are assessing this idea of euro area treasury and correspondingly euro area finance minister. But this is a topic which we are putting up for a discussion in an open way, and now we are willing to listen what member states, what other stakeholders would tell to our initiatives.
What do you think, though? Would a lot of Europe's problems be solved if we had a more federal model for the EU?
Yesterday's reflection paper is concentrating on economic and monetary union. This means Eurozone. And there we are not building a federal model. We are rather concentrating on what shortcomings the current institutional architecture of economic and monetary union has, and how we can address it, how we can restart the process of convergence within Eurozone, how we can support countries facing economic shocks with European Euro area fiscal stabilization function, how we can streamline social concerns in our policy making, and a number of other areas. So it's rather of addressing remaining weaknesses within economic and monetary union. Even though we consider that economic and monetary union, euro, has been a success, it has a high rate of approval among Eurozone citizens. 72% of Euro area citizens are supportive of Euro, and we must ensure that Euro and Eurozone continues to be a success.
One of the big weaknesses, obviously, has been Greece. We thought we'd have a deal on May 22nd. Do you think we'll have a deal at the June Eurogroup on Greece?
Well, we do hope so, because from the European Commission side we have made the assessment of Greek compliance with the program commitments, and we see that Greece is delivering on its side. In terms of fiscal targets, Greece is actually substantially overperforming as regards last year, and is fully on track to meet this year's and next year's primary surplus targets of 1.75% of GDP and 3.5% of GDP correspondingly. So we believe it's time to move forward, also for the program partners to conclude the second review and to disburse the next tranche.